What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Fantasy Football Game Show brought to you by Front Yard Fantasy here on Better Sports Network. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my co-host, John Luke Garofalo, and your Fun Friday co-host, Tim Wright. What's up, guys?
Yo.
Beautiful day.
It is a beautiful day. And if I wasn't happy already, I'm even happier now looking at these pretty faces. Joining us today, bringing the happiness levels up just a little bit more, we've got our great friend, Andrew Hall, with us. For those of you that do not know Andrew, he's a writer and ranker over at Fantasy Pros and Dynasty Pros. You can find him as the host of the Dynasty Junkies podcast and All Day Both Ways podcast. Andrew, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today, my friend.
Welcome on, my friend.
My pleasure. This is awesome. I'm always happy to be here. To clarify, I don't do rankings. I don't want to do rankings. That is not my jam. I hate rankings. If you ask me to rank players, I will change my answer every 3 minutes. So it's not how I roll. But I am glad to be here.
How would
and
you
of
rank
course,
us?
happy to hang with you guys. I would rank you guys equally at number one. How about that? There you go.
That's tier-based
terrible
ranking. I see.
That's why I don't do rankings.
Okay.
You can find his articles over there, Fantasy Pros and Dynasty Pros. So make sure you check those out. We got some people in the chat ready for today's show. Albert over here says, hello, everyone.
What's Albert?
Hello, Albert.
Hello,
And
Albert.
we got Craig in the chat. Our FYF historian said Andrew got his feet under him the first time he played Pole Perception. Now it is all over for you guys.
Wow.
Andrew for the win. Grim in here said, what's up, gang? What's up, Grim? And I see your question. We will get to that ever so shortly.
What up, Grim?
We got Dame in the chat saying, yo, happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you,
I love
Dame.
Dame. Always good in the chat.
Craig down here said, also, this is the first time Pole Perception has been played on a June 9th.
I'm going to lose so badly because of that.
Well, all right.
The curse of June 9th starting strong. We got Victor in the chat. Happy Friday, bro chachos. What's up, Victor? Glad to have you in here. And the fantasy draft room said, love my work from home Friday so I can be an FYF live. Well, we love having you in here with us live. And our favorite Canadian, don't tell any of the other ones, Toronto Dave in the chat with us. What's up, Dave? Welcome in, my friend.
Tell him
Glad to
all.
have you here.
He's the OG. He's
And
awesome.
Scampers, our favorite chat
Oh,
cats.
Scampers.
Beautiful Friday to you all.
Scampers.
A whole squad here, including Jay, to play some Pole Perception. Andrew's here to play Pole Perception like Craig alluded to. Before we get into that, though, a couple reminders. First and foremost, if you're not following our guest, Andrew, you need to go and fix that right now. You can find him on Twitter at Andrew Hall FF, or the link is right below us if you're watching on YouTube, either on the BSN YouTube or the Front Yard Fantasy YouTube. If you're on the FYF channel, go ahead and hit that sub button and the notification bell. It's the easiest way to make sure you don't miss us every day, Monday through Friday at our new old time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. With that being said, you guys ready to get into some Pole Perception?
Absolutely.
Let's do it. John Luke is going to be running this game. I'm going to run through the rules real quick. And then after that, I'm going to hand it off to JL and you're in charge then.
Ooh.
See what happens.
Ready? Well, guys, the rules of the game are as follows. Before the show, JL, with the help of our friend Jay, found 7 of the most beautiful, decadent, delicious, and interesting fantasy football polls that Twitter and the internet has to offer. He's going to take turns proposing those polls to each of our contestants. So if it's my turn, JL may ask me what percentage of people would choose Saquon Barkley over DeAndre Hopkins. I'll give a percentage for the first option, always side A. Now, Andrew and Tim, your job will be to guess whether the actual answer is over or under the line that I set. I'll get points based on how close I am, 10 if I'm exactly right, 1 if I'm 15 away. It scales within there, and you guys would get points for correctly picking the over-under. We'll alternate who's the one setting the line for 2 full rounds before we get to our 7th and final poll, where I hope you brought pen and paper or a cell phone. We will all be writing down a number for that last poll. Whoever's the closest gets the points, and whoever has the most points gets the W. Whoever gets the W gets the Coles cash. It's all
Whoever
a
gets the
beautiful
Coles
cycle.
cash.
Hold
It's
on.
no
For real?
rewards.
I thought that was a joke. Oh, sweet.
No, for real Coles cash.
I am discounting $10 off that $18 shirt that was discounted from $45. You
We're
gotta
definitely
believe.
going to try to do it. That's for sure.
Yeah, I
The
don't know
Coles
if it's
cash
next. We're
leads
gonna
to the
find out.
cat.
It might be expired.
No, we promise non-expired here, but we
Oh,
don't promise valid.
Whoa. Love it.
All right, well, JL, you're in charge.
All right. Friends, let's get into this game. Playing today, Joey is not here. He will not be playing, so he will not be in the scoreboard.
While you
Nice.
vamp, I just want to show off this fine new merch too. I don't know if I got this. Scott
Nice.
Fishbowl 13. I'm not in the Hard Rock division. I'm in Live Cincy Drafter, but I love this logo, so I had to get it. Just wanted to
That's
show
Love
it.
it.
I was going to ask if you were in the Hard Rock division, but a live draft is a good reason not to be.
And it's Bosch ridden, so I got to do a Bosch draft. Like, that's just awesome.
It's the king of
Got
the
to.
drafts.
Oh. Now we're going to switch this order, actually. It's going to be Tim, Andrew, Simon.
I gave you all that time, and then
I know, and I didn't even do it.
Well, Joe, while you're doing that, we can hit Grimm's question. Grimm came in here asking us about Dalvin Cook potential landing spots. He said in an article by Eric Edholm, there were 7 landing spots named: Dolphins, Broncos, Saints, Cowboys, Bills, Jets, and Cardinals. Andrew,
Jets.
Grimm's question was, where do you see him going if not Miami? Or is Miami the spot that you see him most likely landing in?
I mean, Miami's where I think he's going. Yeah, feel like Miami makes the most sense. That's been the most smoke for, I don't know, months, it feels like now. If it's not Miami, I think the betting line is on Cowboys, which I wouldn't be shocked to see. Everybody, and myself included, that is held on to Pollard and he's dodged all these bullets. It makes total sense that Jerry Jones would fire off another one here in June and attack Pollard right in the knee or something. It would just be terrible. Like, oh, well, there he goes. There goes Pollard as backup again. I think Cook's good too. I think he's got something left in the tank. So any of these places would be very entertaining. The Bills would be, I don't want that as a Bengals fan. I'll be honest. That sounds scary, but I would love him to come to the Bengals. We could use the help, honestly. Him and Mixon, think of that. That'd be a good duo. But the Bengals will never sign a guy like that. It just doesn't make sense for this. They don't do that as a franchise. So I'm going with Cowboys.
Some team, I'm with you, Andrew. I think some team is going to get a great 1-year deal from Dalvin Cook because he's in this awkward position age-wise where he probably still does have a year left of being a great running back before he becomes a good running back. But no team like the Vikings, it makes no sense for the Vikings to sign him to that long-term deal. I get why they're not, but somebody's gonna benefit off of this, get a good back for 1 year. Tim, you're the Dolphins fan here. Are you excited about the potential of him in Miami? I know Dave Kluge came on yesterday and was not as excited about Dalvin Cook to Miami.
Yeah, I mean, as a long-term fan of Dalvin, I think it'd be fun just because I've watched him for so long and I've really enjoyed watching him just absolutely devastate the league. I don't know how much sense it really makes for us. And if we do that, we're going to have to absolutely just get rid of our future. We're win now 110%. And if we don't, we are so screwed. But it could be fun. I mean, we have the backs right now that work for the system. So if we get a stud back, I mean, you see McCaffrey go into that 49ers role. If you get a stud back, it really turns from, this good to that good. So yeah, it could be pretty fun to watch. All in on the Dolphins offense if that happens.
Oh, I so wanted to do a Dolphin call in that moment. and then I remembered I can't.
You thought about it for too long. I will say it takes a lot of practice.
I know. Why don't you give us one, Simon?
No, I'm good right now. It's special. Craig down here coming in with an update on the last time you played, Andrew. You scored 9 points last time, coming in third, but you have not played against myself or Tim. So I'm guessing you played against Josh and maybe JL last time?
It was Josh and JL, yeah.
There we go.
And you hosted.
Couple of handsome guys.
Can we get Joey on the bottom line too, just to really emphasize that he didn't win this game?
And he's not here.
Yeah,
absolutely.
100% Joey. I'm going to bet Joey doesn't win this game. I'm willing to bet it. Unless we all somehow get negative and his 0 wins. That'd be hilarious.
Scott Bush.
Oh, boy. Careful.
Get out of here, J.O.
Scott Bush. Scott Fish is the FYF sportsbook bookie. I don't think we can say that. That's not legal.
It's
send your bet to
imaginary.
Scott.
It's
imaginary.
only
It's
illegal
imaginary
if it
sportsbook.
isn't satirical.
Yeah.
This is the Scott Fish satirical FYF sportsbook.
Scott
And you can
Fish
send
Bush
him
Bar.
your satirical money to make your satirical bets on these satirical shows, and we
This
are
is
the house.
absolutely legal advice.
We
Psych.
get everything.
All right.
Full send.
All right, Andrew, you are going first in this game of poll perception, followed by Tim, followed by Simon. You ready, Andrew?
That means I picked the line, just to clarify.
Yes, you are setting
It's
the
been like
line
an
on
hour
this
since
first.
we went through the rules. I just want to make
It
sure.
has been a while, yeah.
All right, cool. I'm ready.
All right, Andrew, your first poll is a dynasty poll. And the question is, which option would you prefer? A, Kyle Pitts, or B, Darren Waller and Sam Laporta? What percentage of the public chose Kyle Pitts in this poll?
I want to get into analysis, but I'm going to save it so as not to taint anybody because that's part of the game. I'm going to go with 68% for Kyle Pitts.
You're going with 68%. Locking that in?
Yeah, locking that in.
All right, 68%. Tim, was the actual percentage over or under or exactly correct on Andrew's guess of 68%?
Well, my heart says 69, so over. Happy Friday.
Right.
Happy June 9th.
It worked. 6-9 on 69.
All right, Tim taking the over. Simon, same question.
I just love the idea that Tim 69s with his heart.
That's the most important part.
He's pouring his heart into
it.
What
What does that even mean?
People freaking love Kyle Pitts. I know there's hype around Laporta, but a name like Pitts in a poll just pulls votes. So I'm going to take the over as well, but I think it's a great line.
All right, Simon taking the over as well. Double over on Andrew's. That's a 68% with the reverse split the room, Andrew. And we got some guesses here in the chat. We got Victor with 15%, Jay with taint, 70% from Craig, 67% from Grim, 58% from Dustin. We got 72 from Albert, 78 from Toronto Dave, 57 from Dame, 88 from Scampers, and 72 from the fantasy draft room. Well, Andrew, you guess 68% of people chose side A in this poll, chose Kyle Pitts in this poll. Simon and Tim, you both chose the over.
We did.
Well, the actual percentage of people who chose Kyle Pitts was 74%.
Ooh, okay.
Great
okay.
guess. Great
Pretty
guess.
good.
74%. Great guess. You are,
Ooh, six.
Andrew, you were within 10 percentage points. This means you were going to get 3 points in this poll. And Simon and Tim, you both correctly guessed the over. So you're going to each get 2 points.
It's a good round all
I
around.
almost
for
said 72. I was like, no, I'm going to go 2 the other way. I was like, I want him to have some unders, but then I was like, nah, I'll go lower.
72 would have been so close. I almost put your score at 74.
Go for it. That's fine.
And
That'd be
think at
great.
the same time.
That would be tough to come back from.
I'm not against it. I would just shut up my camera and be like, I won, boys. Like,
everybody.
the show's over.
And Joey lost.
All
Right.
out.
All that matters.
Joey definitely lost.
Yeah, all out. Mic drop. Like,
How are you guys feeling about Darren Waller? I feel like he's an interesting fantasy
like
player. Yeah, he
I
could
like it.
be.
yeah.
We could get the old him, or we could get the new him.
Well, he's
whatever
gonna,
that
gonna
is.
get injured. Let's be honest. We already know that, right? Like, I'm not worried about. I'm just factoring it in at this point. But I think could be the number one target on that offense. You know,
Really?
obviously Baquan is going to get all of his targets, and I think that's great. But there's not a lot of other threats. I mean, Wandale Rabante is not somebody I'm excited to see. I mean, I am, but not like as a number one receiver. I think Waller could be Danny Dimes' favorite target, so I'm happy about it.
Yeah, talk about his top Scott Fishbowl tight end with that scoring that came out. Good Lord.
Ooh.
That's one of the guys to target.
For sure. Yeah, this is gonna be a fun year for tight ends in the Scott Fishbowl.
Yeah.
I say that every year, but I mean it this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Simon, I want to ask you about Kyle Pitts because he's someone who everyone's obviously hyped on him for dynasty purposes. But for redraft, what do you think people can expect this year?
Top target on the Falcons and maybe the lowest pass volume offense in the NFL. They didn't do anything to make me think that they're going to throw the ball more. I mean, except that
the
it's
opposite.
impossible
Yeah.
to throw less.
Yeah.
They can't throw the ball less than they did last year. So upside is limited for Kyle Pitts with the offense that he's in, but this is a guy that's already had 1,000-yard season and people are calling him a bust just because we have Travis Kelce type aspirations for him, right? Like that's the hope. I think he'll be probably a top 5 tight end this year. And if things click, he has top 3 overall upside.
I agree.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm excited for Kyle Pitts and this whole offense.
The sparkle may be gone. He may not have like the shine that he did when he got drafted as a rookie. Like Kyle
That's
Pitts.
value.
But
this is where I want to say this is a perfect chance. We're at the start of this poll perception. The fact that it was only 74% means that there are 26% of people that want Darren Waller and Sam Laporta. I would gladly give Darren Waller and Sam Laporta, be like, here, give me Kyle Pitts, right? Like that's what I love about these polls in general is that it's never 100%. And I say that, and we're probably going to have one today, and that's going to burn me. But I'm just saying, like, there's always somebody out there who's willing to make that trade. And I say this to people all the time. You know, sometimes I send what's considered lowball offers. I know we've had some people in the Junkies chat that have called me Andrew Lowball Hall. But my thinking is more like I'd rather start low and have them add a piece rather than start high and get them smash accept, which is worse, right? Getting a rejection or a smash accept, you're like, oh crap, I probably paid too much, right? So like my thinking is like, I don't mind a negotiation. Let's find the middle, but why start on their end? Let's start where I'm happy.
Yeah.
And then build. So this is exactly that. Like I would much rather have Kyle Pitts, but the fact that 25% of 1 out of 4 people would rather have the other trade, I'm sending that offer to 4 people right now.
Yeah.
And here's Jay saying, actually, I have both Darren Waller and Sam Laporta in our Dynasty League. Maybe I'll send that offer. Just see if it gets accepted.
It's a good idea. Taint it.
There you
go. Taint
it.
And we got some Laporta hype chat in the chat. Jay said, I'm all aboard the Laporta hype.
Yeah, because he's got him on his team and he's hyping him up right now.
He's trying to get that value up. But we do have a different person here hyping up Laporta. We got Dave saying, I'm getting a little bit excited about Laporta. Settle down, Dave. Small hype train in my mind for Sammy L. How you guys feeling about Laporta?
That's good. I'm excited for Laporta too. I think I don't think he's going to be the top target on that offense, right? We're talking about Pitts. But I think Laporta could be one of those guys that we see that takes a little bit of time to get acclimated and get up to speed. Tight ends generally do that. There's a ton of off-season hype about him. I want to see him in action. I want to see him play against an actual defensive lineman who's going to be running at him and blocking and all this. I want to see if he can do all of that. I actually, generally speaking, almost never draft tight ends. I think I drafted a couple Laporta shares in the second, but I'd rather that, they drop in value after the draft and pick them up cheaper or on waivers even after the first season because tight ends have a little bit of a longer, curve to adjust to. And I feel like every year we see names like this and everybody gets all excited. And the next year we're like, here's another batch of names because we don't know what we're doing. So, I mean, again, I'm not hating on Laporta, but in a tight end class like this, he gets kind of pushed down. If he'd come out last year, when we were a little bit lighter at tight end, he might have been the top tight end in the class. So it's all about, perspective and keeping things together.
Yeah. I'm still holding on to my Adam Troutman shares.
I am too, man. One of these days.
Just waiting, baby. One of these days.
Alberto, anyone?
So dead.
I think I still have
Trey McBride
on a couple teams.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into our next poll here. Tim, this one is yours. You ready?
Oh, yeah.
Mamma mia. The magic words. Here you go. Who scores more fantasy football PPR points if both players are healthy for 17 games? Chris Olave or Michael Thomas? What percentage of the public chose Chris Olave in this poll?
Dumb question.
You are horrible.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is actually the incorrect order. It's supposed to be Michael Thomas first that you're guessing on, and Chris Olave.
Oh, we're guessing on Michael Thomas. Okay.
It's
interesting. Yeah. It's still interesting. It's okay.
Oh, God.
Bobby can't type.
Sucks. This sucks. Because I am
It's the if that makes it suck.
I'm the sucker for Michael Thomas. It's awful. Olave absolutely killed it last year, but there was nobody else there. There's nothing. And if Michael Thomas, if he's healthy for 17 games, the answer should be Michael Thomas. So I'm going to lean that way. Yeah, I think it's going to be close based on the recency of the last season. And people, I think even if Twitter's going to say, well, even if they see if both players are healthy, they're still going to think that Thomas is going to get injured in this hypothetical scenario. So I'm still going to go Thomas. I'm going to go I'll go 58%.
Tim,
50.
I was going to say, just so you know, Grim Fan Queen beat you in the chat before you even gave your answer.
Oh, let's go.
Oh, dang.
Grim Fan says, I'm with Tim, baby.
Whatever it is.
58%. Locking that into?
Yeah, lock it in.
All right, 58%. Simon was the actual percentage, over or under, or exactly even with Tim's guess of 58%.
I think Tim's guess is a fairly accurate representation if the question said, or if this wasn't a guess of what we thought people thought and just the percentage chance that Michael Thomas did score more points if they were healthy for 17 games. I would give the slight edge to Michael Thomas, but I think people love Chris Olave and they're sick of Michael Thomas. So I'm going to take the under. I think the public votes under, but Tim, I'm with you. You've converted me to be a Michael Thomas drafter this offseason.
You got it. You just have to.
With where he's going, how can I not draft him?
Right? You got to draft Michael Thomas.
He could be the wide receiver one. I'm gonna follow suit and go under also, and it's mostly because, and I think Tim said it perfectly. Even in this hypothetical where they're healthy for 17 games, Michael Thomas is still getting injured somehow. Like it's just like there's even if that's not possible, and everybody's going, it's not possible. Like it's definitely possible. So I just think there's a lot of negative and a lot of hate, and the ADP lines up very heavily Olave, and part of that, of course, is the injury risk. But I'm saying it's so heavily favored to Olave that I don't know if you just imagine a world that doesn't exist where Michael Thomas doesn't get hurt. It makes me nervous. So I'm going under for sure.
Double under.
All right, the double under.
Ooh.
The reverse split room
Tim's.
on Tim's guess, 58%.
That's your favorite, Tim. The double under. I know that from living with you.
From his heart, though. From his heart.
Yeah, true.
We got some guesses in the chat. Cody with 89%, Scampers with 81%. We got Dave with 51%. Victor 78%, 19 from Scampers, 32 from Dame, 13 from Victor, and 27 from Albert. And then a late guess here from Craig with 45%. And of course, Grim Fan with the Queen Bee.
Just Queen Bee. I like it.
Queen Bee on I guess we could just substitute that for 58%.
I'm rooting more for Grim than I am for myself, honestly.
Well, you don't have to. Luckily. All right, Tim, let me pull this poll back up. And you guessed 58% of people chose Michael Thomas in this poll. Both Simon and Andrew took the under on that guess. The actual percentage of people who chose side A in this poll was 21%. 21%.
That is absurd. That is crazy.
Yeah. The Olave hype is real.
That is insane.
Olave's great. Olave is a great wide receiver, but I really think if both players are healthy for 17 games part of this question just entirely changes it.
It's a trap.
When Michael Thomas has been healthy, I guess he's had a stretch of poor games while healthy.
Here's where I go with it too, though. It's age, right? I mean, even if we're talking about like Michael Thomas 5 years ago, right, or 4 years ago, whenever he was Dynasty wide receiver one, like that's the whole different question. He's aged a little bit. He might not be as fast. It doesn't seem like he has the desire and the drive to get on the field. The team might be moving on to him. So even healthy, there are other things that are causing this to happen, right? I mean, health is a big part of it, but I think that there are some other things. I was thinking around the 20 to 25 range. So I was like right in where I thought it was, which is always kind of tricky because, again, you said it perfectly, Simon. This isn't what I think. This is what do people think? How do I perceive this poll? And yeah, I think the people, for the most part, are right with me on this, that it's not much, but there is still that 1 in 5 chance that he, shows up again and blows up, right? We don't know.
Scampers down here saying Michael Thomas defies hypotheticals.
Yeah.
He's one of those players that just those polls could go anywhere.
Breaks hypotheticals and ankles. Like,
I don't know.
Lives in the concrete. Well, Andrew, you are in the lead right now. 5 to 4 to 2.
To 0
So
for Joey. That's all I care about. All right.
To 0 for Joey. Yeah. Suck it, Joey.
Love you, Joey. I'm just kidding. Come on.
I'm not.
Who was the close? Let's see, the 21%. Who's the closest in the chat? I think we had 19% from Scampers.
There you go, Scamp.
Pretty good.
It's good.
Pretty good. That is a good cat. Although there is an earlier guess of 81% from Scampers.
That was, if you look at when the order
flipped
was
it,
backwards.
Because of
I don't
math.
look at it. Oh, that makes sense.
There you go.
All right. Let's get into our next poll here.
I'm ready.
Time. This one's yours.
It's me.
PPR, redraft. Who do you prefer? James Conner or Alexander Mattison? What percentage of the public chose James Conner in this poll?
I'm guessing this was asked post the Dalvin Cook news. That seems why this would be asked. Why are we talking?
I think we can safely assume that, but I cannot confirm that at this time.
That's okay. I'll take that risk whenever I'm making this judgment that this poll was asked because of that. Alexander Madison's name is in the news because of the Dalvin Cook news. I think it's going to be pretty low on the James Conner side, even though he's a touchdown dude in an offense that isn't supposed to score a lot of touchdowns this year. So even his value there is falling off. How low do I go?
How low do you go?
How low do you go? How low?
You know,
do
I've
you
never
go?
lost a limbo competition, and that's primarily because I retired at 14. But I still have not lost.
And out on top.
At your mom's child or your mom's old friend's child's luau.
Exactly. They did 100%. There are
That sounds
distinct
so
memories
bad.
at like my mom's friend's pig roast luau that they would have when we're doing the limbo. Man, those were awesome.
Happy birthday, whatever your name is.
Happy birthday. Man, I miss those. I'll say 14% James Conner.
14% James Conner. Locking that in.
Pretty low.
All right. 14% James Conner. Andrew, was the actual percentage over, under, or exactly even with Simon's guess of 14%?
That's right around where I was thinking. And I was really hoping you were going to go a little bit higher because I'm thinking maybe this poll was before that news, but we've already known. Like the writing's been on the wall for at least a week or so.
It was
now.
after.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like
confirmed.
Even today or yesterday, like whenever the news broke, everybody was kind of like, okay, that's what we thought. Like this isn't like new information; it's just official. So I don't think it changes it that much. So I think it's in that range. I really do. I think there's still people that are just anti, and I have this theory too that there's people that go on Twitter and look at the right answer and go no, and they just write the other answer anyway, just to throw these off, knowing that we're playing a game about it. I'm gonna go because you said 14. I was thinking 15 to 20, so I'm gonna go higher and just see how it goes. I'm just gonna go higher. Let's see what happens.
All right, taking the over. Tim, over, under, exactly even. Simon gets 14%.
I mean, Andrea thinks that at all. So let's go higher as well. I was leaning a little bit higher. You can still be a fantasy relevant running back on a dumpster fire of a team. So until we have any firm answers on Dalvin, where he goes and all that fun stuff, but whatever. I don't know. We'll see what the Vikings do. Who cares?
We'll see.
We will see. All right. Well, Simon, you guessed 14% of people chose James Conner in this poll. We got double over from Andrew and Tim. We got some guesses in the chat. 33% from that cat, 42% from that Dave, 49.9%. We don't take floating point numbers here, Victor.
We truncate. That's 49 officially.
Sick figs.
Yeah. 16% from Cody, 36% from Albert, 22 from Grim, 18 from Dame. And Grim asking, anyone know if JL got his $1,000 yesterday? I didn't check my Venmo out of fear. So I don't know.
There's a request for 1,000 in there. Sorry.
Yeah, there's 3 requests for 10 grand. All my money. All of my monies. All right. Well, the actual percentage of people, if I can pull this poll back up, that chose James Conner over Alexander Mattison as the player they prefer in a PPR redraft league was
14.
16.
Not 14, 27%.
Yeah!
Simon, you were 13 percentage points away, which means you're going to get 1 point.
Liar! Sorry.
I am no such thing, sir.
The poll doesn't lie.
The poll doesn't lie.
He needs a cool down.
Yeah. Tim and Andrew, you each correctly guessed the over-under on this one, so you're going to get 2 points.
Yes.
Bringing the score to 7 to 4
High five.
to 5.
Tim, high five. Yeah, we'll take it.
You said the word redraft out loud, JL, and I know I said redraft out loud as well. I was thinking dynasty the whole time.
Oh,
no.
That's stupid.
That 100%. It's Friday.
It's Friday, y'all. It's Friday.
Let's go.
It's Friday. Like my brain hasn't been an absolute dumpster fire for the past 5 days, anyways.
I want to ask you guys, these two players, you guys already alluded to it, right? There's uncertainty amongst both of them. Both are going into, or not necessarily a new situation for James Conner, but I don't think any fantasy manager out there is super confident in rostering either of these players. How are you guys handling these players? What are you doing in your fantasy teams?
James Conner, for all the negatives that I brought up, what we saw last year was still a great fantasy running back, to Tim's point. Now, I know we're very sour on this Cardinals offense, but I still think he has a role, and that role will be when they do score touchdowns. James Conner is probably the guy who's going to push it in. Maybe they lean on him even heavier without Kyler Murray at the beginning of the season. So James Conner should have a great start to the year. I think he's a value in redraft. I'm not sure. Alexander Mattison has been hit or miss when Dalvin Cook has been out. There's been slam dunk games where everyone started him and then we all high-fived afterwards because he absolutely killed it. And then there's been games where Dalvin Cook's been out and we all started him and we all just looked at each other like, what the hell just happened? He had 6 carries. Like there was no Dalvin Cook and he had 6 carries. So I trust James Conner's role a little bit more, but the upside is way lower. I imagine the draft cost will be way lower as well, though.
Yeah, I'll jump in and just kind of say the piece that I think is interesting to me is the shoe could still drop on Alexander Mattison. They could still bring in Ezekiel Elliott or Leonard Fournette or one of those things, right? So like we're talking about this in June. I don't see that happening with Arizona. I don't think they're in a position to win now. I don't think they have any desire to win now. They're just potentially starting a massive rebuild. Connor's job is safe, in my opinion. I don't think there's anyone that's going to challenge him other than potentially negative injury, which I never want to wish for. But like those, you never can predict anyway. So I think the question marks with Connor are around the team, and with Mattison, it's around if he's going to be the leader in that running back room. Obviously, Nwangwu did well too, and they've got was it Dwayne McBride who they drafted? So like they've got some other running backs that might like flash and do something and all this, and it might be a 3-headed monster, which is terrible for fantasy. I mean, we could be looking back on this in October going, oh my God, James Conner is RB10 and Alexander Madison's RB18. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, so I'm kind of with you. I think that out of the start of the season, I think Connor's going to hit the ground running, literally. And I think you're going to have Colt McCoy handing him the ball a lot so he doesn't have to dish it out. Again, they lost Hopkins. I mean, they got Marquise Brown. They got, was it Chosen Anderson? No, I think he went to the Dolphins. Who else? Michael Wilson they drafted, right? So they've got some receivers and Rondale Moore and all this, but like, nobody that I'm really excited about or worried about. So I wouldn't be shocked if we see Connor getting 20 to 30 touches and they just ride him till the wheels fall off. So again, I think it's an interesting twist that only 27% said Connor. I feel like there is some logic in redraft, especially that 1 and 4. I don't know. I could see the logic in saying way more than that, I guess, with all the question marks Mattison has.
Especially, I mean, if you could snag him as like an RB2 way down there.
Oh yeah.
Like, what? Come on. That's
perfect 0 RB draft. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Anytime a backup running back has the opportunity, or it's not even just running back, it's really any player, when like the person in front of them leaves and the automatic assumption is that they are going to be the starter, I feel like I get this pain inside me. Like, no, like they might just make a different decision.
Or not even just the starter, but it's the key to unlocking them. I remember when Juju Smith-Schuster was dynasty wide receiver 1 when Antonio Brown was leaving. Mm-hmm. Like there was a time period where consensus was Juju is a top 3, if not number 1 overall dynasty wide receiver. And it was only because look what Antonio Brown did. Juju was good with him there. Imagine with him gone. It doesn't work.
The olden days.
Makes sense. Makes sense to me.
All right. Well, this game is close.
Suck it, Joey.
Well, wait, one more thing. I just wanted to mention, ironically, who breaks that mold is James Conner. Remember when he took over for Lev Bell? Like Le'Veon Bell was supposed to be great and all this, and then he sits out and James Conner comes on and we're still talking about him. We're not talking about Lev Bell. So it's interesting that you mentioned it that way.
I think that's Steelers running backs. There have been D'Angelo Williams just plugged in, like whoever plugs into that role.
Jalen Warren this year, right? Like there's some of that logic. Yep.
We knew that role itself was going to provide value.
Well, receivers are always a little different anyway, right? Like receivers, it's tricky to you can't just plug and play as much. There's XYZ, there's routes, there's coverage. Juju's good against the second DB. When you put him up against the first, not so great. Like that happens. It's okay.
He's an even number guy.
That's right.
That was the offseason I started Dynasty. Juju 104, baby.
No!
I like the party and then dead. Party!
So this guy's cool.
Yeah, I like this. This is fun. I should play this more. Yeah.
He's got some good juju.
All right, let's get into our second round here. And with the second round comes a new game mechanic, which Simon is going to be kind enough to explain.
Yeah, there are now 2 more options beyond just over, under, and queen bee. You can now choose way over or way under as your option as well. This means you think that your opponent's answer is 15 percentage points or more away. It is inclusive. Now, it is a double or nothing mechanic, though. So, Andrew, if you guess way over and my answer is only 11 points away, you're going to get 0 points. But if it is, in fact, that 15 or more, you'll get 4 instead of your normal 2.
All risk for the bisque. Let's do it.
Why is it 15 instead of 16? Risk. I've always wondered that because you can still score points on 15 if you guess.
Yeah. I don't know why we did that either.
I'll tell you why.
I think when I run it, it's exclusive.
It's because the first time we introduced that rule, I was asked, and in the split second, I made the decision inclusive, and it has just stayed as the default ever since.
Fair enough.
I love that that's the answer. That's so perfect. You guys are such a pro show. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah. The pro.
Well put together.
With poll perception, we have gotten the scoring just worked.
It does.
We've never changed the scoring for this game.
Wait, yeah, Joey's negative
Yeah,
10. I like
added.
the scoring. This is good.
Oh, wait,
All
we did add
liking
one
this.
change to the scoring. Joey gets negative 10 when he's not here.
Oh, yeah.
Fair.
That's every game. All right. Let's get into our next round. Let's see. Andrew, you have the first poll here. You ready?
Yes.
Here it is. Who is your favorite #fantasy football sleeper on the Saints roster? Kendre Miller, Juwan Johnson, Carr, or D, other/none exist? What percentage of the public chose Kendre Miller?
I like that it's none exist. That's almost rude. Like, nah, there aren't any. But I could totally see that getting some clicks. Again, this is not necessarily my answer, as we want to repeat. This is who I think the fantasy public is saying shortly after the rookie draft season is ended. I'm going to go with 36% chose Kendre Miller.
36%. Locking that in?
Lock it in.
All right, 36%. Tim, is the actual percentage over, under, way over, or way under, or exactly right? For Andrew's guess, 36%.
I'm trying to do math, and I hate that so much.
5.
25
Don't you do math every day?
times 4 is 100.
Natural log of 7.
And then we're going to subtract a little magic. I think that's going to be a solid guess. People are really loving him. Oh, but I mean, Derek Carr should be pretty fun too. So I think he might come in second there. And then I can't believe Taysom Hill is in here. Gosh, that's just an absolute
Michael
tragedy.
Thomas. Really? What the heck? This is a Saints-focused show, apparently.
So then, shoot, that may make D even better. I don't know. I like 36. I think that's a good one. Screw it. I'll Queen B it.
Queen B in it.
Never been hit on
Locking
the
that
show.
in?
Never been hit. I got to do it every single show. Got to try
I'd love
once.
to be a part of it. Let's go.
Come
Thank
on.
you, Tim. Thank you for trusting me, Tim.
Type the acronym for Queen B and then realized. All right, Simon, was the actual percentage over, under, way over, or way under, or exactly right of Andrew's guess, 36%?
I really don't think Juwan Johnson's going to get much of the vote here. Like almost a negligible amount. Let's just call it 3% to give something that way. It's the other I'm debating between over and way over. And it's that other word that is really messing me up because I do think Michael Thomas is a popular sleeper on the Saints. I'll take the over. I'm just taking the regular old over. I think it's a pretty good guess. That other option is going to keep it, keep Kendre lower. If that just said none exist, I think Kendre would be above 50%.
True.
All right, you're taking the over. The regular
Way over. I'm changing it.
Way over.
Whoa.
Locking that in, Simon?
Yeah, let's lock it in.
All right.
51%.
Tim Queen beat it, and I way overed it.
We are not getting any points, Simon.
And Andrew takes a commanding lead.
Please be true.
Please be true. Oh, we got Dave in the chat. 28%, 37% from Victor, 102% from Scampers.
That's my
It's a confident cat.
Broke the
31% from Dave Albert with 33%, Cody with 42%, and Craig with 42%. Scampers with 55%. The real guess. Well, and we got Grim taking way over here.
Hey, me and Grim, baby.
Guess.
And Scampers.
And Scampers. My eyes are trained to just look for numbers in the chat when I'm playing this game. All right. The actual percentage of people who chose Kendre Miller in this poll was 45%.
Okay.
45%. So, Andrew, you were 9%. You were within 10 percentage points. So, you're going to get
That's bad.
3 points on this one.
Oof.
Tim, no points. And Simon, knocked yourself out of points on this one.
Oh, wait. Shoot. I changed it the
Yeah,
other
you went the
way
way
of
over.
Yeah, you went way
No.
over. It was not outside of, or I don't know how to say it with your exclusivity rule. He was only 9 percentage points away. You don't get points. It's the best way
That's
I
all
can
you
say
need
it.
to know.
That's all you
Thanks,
need to
guys.
know.
Appreciate you.
Yep.
I like
Okay.
the trust and lack of trust that you guys have for me. This is great.
Turns out we should have just moderately trusted
Just
you.
generally
Nice
trusted.
combo.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andrew, that's going to bring you up to 10 points.
Nerd.
Already doing better than last time. That's right.
Already doing better than last time. Before we move on to the next question or next poll, how you guys feel about Kendre Miller coming into this offense? I know Alvin Kamara might be facing a suspension. You think Kendre Miller has the talent to succeed in the NFL?
I do, but I think a lot of people like him because of that suspension that it seems to be looming. I'm honestly not sure he gets suspended. I think there's a chance that Kamara plays the whole season, or they delay it or something, or I don't know enough to know that that's going to happen. Everybody seems to be talking about it, but we've seen the NFL get really light on certain things and really crazy on others. And I think the way the pendulum swings, they're due for something really light. So we'll see what happens. I'm not condoning the behavior. I'm not saying he deserves something light. I'm just saying the NFL is wonky, and that's where I think it happens. That being said, I mean, Kendry Miller is a good running back, and I think a good kind of complementary back. But as with everything in running back world, you just got to have the opportunity, and we'll see. I guess I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but I definitely think in this one, and I think Tim, you hit on it. If this was guaranteed super flex, I could see Derek Carr getting more votes.
Yeah,
but I still think the vast majority of people, even those still on Twitter voting in polls, I've seen almost it's 50-50 maybe now, which is better than it was, but it's still a lot of people playing one QB. And there are people that look at this and go, how can Derek Carr be a sleeper? Like, they just like, I don't trust it. But I agree. I think Derek Carr is actually a great sleeper for Superflex League. So I like that twist and then the ultimate trust. So thank you again, Tim. That's amazing.
No problem. That's what I'm here for.
Thankfully, I won and you didn't. That stinks, but I'll pay you back. It's fine.
That's all good. That's all good. As long as Joey's down there.
The word complimentary that you threw out there, Andrew, I think is exactly how I'm viewing him in this offense. They also added Jamal Williams, which is the perfect back to complement the kind of like big play ability of someone like Kendry Miller. Yep. I expect Jamal Williams to get more of the work, but remember when Travis Etienne was starting to get eased into the Jacksonville offense and we would just see a 70-yard run, know what I mean? Or a 30-yard run, but he wasn't getting the snaps. I bet we see something similar from Kendry Miller this season. We'll see flashes. We'll see enough to get excited. He'll have his big games, but he's not going to get a consistent enough workload to be
who was that guy in the preseason a couple years ago? Was it Amir Abdullah who had like a 50-yard run that everybody went nuts for? I wouldn't be shocked if that's Kendry Miller this year, right? Where Kamara may not play in the preseason at all, right? Like why risk it, especially if you're going to get suspended? But Kendry might get a ton of touches in the first or two series or whatever, and we see him blow up and everybody goes crazy and then just crickets for the season. We don't know. So again, it's tricky to see talent against second tier defenses and things like that. It can get kind of weird. So I like him as a player, but I think you're exactly right. The running back I want right now is definitely Jamal Williams. I think he gets the goal line carries. I think he's almost a guaranteed 10 touchdowns, which is crazy to think of as like a guarantee. You know what I mean? But he's just got that kind of talent. He can break a longish run too. Put him in at the 18. He runs it in. I could totally see him, doing that. So Kendry is a guy I like. Jamal's a guy I love. Let's put it that way.
What was the breakdown on the rest of these? I'm curious then. Yeah. I completely forgot about Jamal, honestly.
Yeah, so Kendry Miller got 45% of the vote. Juwan Johnson got 25% of the vote.
Wow.
What?
Derek Carr got 13% and Other got 17%.
You know what it is? People lack creativity. They see Other and they can't fill in the blank them damn selves. They were the kids who threw the Mad Lib books away out of frustration instead of just writing a damn adjective. Sticky is an adjective. You could have just written sticky.
Oh, okay, Simon, you're going to be all right. I also think there are a lot of people that just hate tight end, and so they're like, maybe Juwan Johnson's like they're just like, I don't know who it's going to be. So yeah, he got a lot of name recognition, but I don't have Juwan on any dynasty teams, and I'm fine with it.
I think the sleeper part might be part of the key to unlocking this poll. I think that Juwan Johnson, I don't see Derek Carr as much of a sleeper. I see him more as stable. He's going to return probably close, if not maybe a little bit better on his value. And so I could see maybe people interpreting it that way. And the one QB aspect probably plays into it. I think you're right about that. We got Sully in the chat.
Hey.
Oh, wow.
He said, I really need to pop in here more.
You do.
I don't know why I said it weird like that. Every time I do, I realize how much I miss y'all. We miss you, Sully.
Hope you're doing well, Sully.
Although, didn't Simon start the show with, Dave, you're our favorite Canadian, don't tell the others?
Well, you just told the others, dude. What the hell?
Yeah, what shoot?
What's that all about? You know what I mean?
And this scammer said, did Joey get his negative points? Yes, he did.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Oh, do I need to add more negative points
more
every round?
He missed the answer. He didn't answer anything.
-5.
Perfect.
Bad job, Joe. There you go. -15. Simon said it. Simon said the Canadian thing.
Pop in from time to time.
But we absolutely back him up.
Oh, come on. We like Sully too. Sully. They're both great.
Sully's been with us for a really long time hanging out.
Not by choice. All right, our next poll. Tim, this one's yours. You ready?
Oh yeah, go for it.
All right, let's get into it. What is your typical scoring format in your fantasy football leagues?
Damn it.
Full PPR, it's 1 point per reception, half point per reception, or standard, also known as non-PPR, just no points per receptions. What percentage of the public chose A, PPR in this poll?
Standard is for people who have been doing this for way too long.
Noted. Yeah.
So I'm naturally going to throw that one out. If you break the 33, 33, 33, I'm going to chop that down probably in half a bit. Half PPR frustrates the hell out of me. Even
You
though
ever chop down a tree?
Yeah, with a hatchet, dude. It's crazy.
Pretty
I thought you
tough.
were say with your heart, like.
Yeah. Well, the heart was in the hat. You know.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yeah. It's like in Diablo, you have to plug into the whatever. I don't know how ESPN's standard format is, how they usually do it. So this is really a kind of a crapshoot. I lean PPR. I think it makes the most sense. It's simple. So I'm going to go ahead and say we'll give PPR 54% of this.
54%, locking that in.
Yeah.
All right. Oops, put that in the wrong column. Simon, was the actual percentage over, under, way under, or exactly even? Tim's guess of 54%.
John Luke, it was exactly even.
Oh,
Queen bee.
Yeah.
That was the number I had in my head. Tim said it, and we're going for it, baby.
Heck yeah.
All right. Queen bee, locking that in.
Yeah, let's lock it in.
All right.
to see it.
Andrew, your options are the same.
Well, so again, I think Tim
Yeah.
kind of talked it out the way I was going. Standard is such a misnomer. It's so not the standard. And I totally agree with non-PPR being the way we should call it. Like PPR should be considered the standard, right? And then we say 0 PPR if you don't have that thing, because it's that, it should not be the standard anymore. That being said, it is on this poll, which I do think will tear the others down a little bit, because there are going to be people that answer that. If it was PPR or non-PPR and all of the PPRs were in one bucket, you would see a crazy high amount. That being said, I think 54 is a great guess. I was actually leaning more toward like 50, 35, 15, somewhere in there. So that's where I'm going to go with under, but not way under. But I would not be shocked or upset at all if there's a queen bee situation. That would be phenomenal to be a part of it, even if I didn't win it. So
My
I'll go
heart's racing
under
a little
begrudgingly. I can't do another queen bee. That's just all of our eggs in one bee. You know what I mean?
I mean, if it is right, and Simon and I both get those 10 points, we take over.
I
But
know.
if you queen bee it, then you just nothing
Andrew,
changes.
I know.
If
I thought
I-
about it. That's what John
if I-
Bosch would do. Yeah.
If I know anything about bees, which I don't know a lot about bees, the queen
Terrifying.
bee is the one that all the eggs go in.
Yeah.
Oh,
very true.
Well, until they don't, right? And then they come out of them.
And then we get bees.
Dang.
All
I don't
the
know.
eggs in one bee.
Then we
skip.
get bees.
Put all your eggs in one bee.
Bees in one egg.
Well, again, my thought was John Bosch would 100% say queen bee, like because as he plays the game within the game within the game within the game. But I'm looking at it more like I do believe it's under, and that would be an interesting twist to the game if I was different and we threw it into the wrenches. So let's have fun, boys.
Let's
It's the
do it.
weirdest diatribe I've ever been on, but it makes sense. Like it all makes sense. All right, Tim, you guessed 54%. We got a queen bee from Simon. We got an under from
Simon.
Andrew.
Simon,
We got-
touch
we got some-
hands.
Touch hand. Don't you know how to use your hand? Have you forgotten?
Touch hands. Come on, baby. Or do we have to make a heart? Can we make a heart?
Aw.
That's crazy.
Beautiful.
go. Okay,
Just
make it bee.
just a square. This is a circle. So a rounded rectangle.
Oh, it's getting there.
Best game ever.
We got some guesses from the chat.
Oh, Tim, we're gonna be doing
67%
this a while.
from
Okay.
Sully, 56 from Dave. We got 50 from Craig, 47 from Dame and Scampers.
I thought he was going to announce it right then.
From Albert, 67 from Dave, 60 from Grim, 41 from Cody, 60 from Grim Fan, and 0% from Mrs. Scampers. Mrs.
Oh.
Scampers comes in after like a year and a half just to give us a goose egg here. All right.
Ouch.
Ouch. All right. Well, the actual percentage of people who chose PPR, side A, in this poll was
No.
57%.
Oh,
man. I thought for sure it was Queen Bee when you took that long. I was like, this is it. It's happening.
Oh, God. As soon as you said
So
54,
close.
I was like, that's a solid guess. And Simon Queen beat it. And I'm like, ooh, that's almost a solid Queen Bee.
I've been there so many times, Simon.
I got all those
So
liquid bees. We're waiting for
I-
that solid bee.
I thought Scampers and Dame got it, but they actually got 47%. Dave Fantasy was the closest with 56%. Well done.
Nice job, Dave.
Nice job. All right, we're going to keep it moving because we are
Points.
running low on time.
Points.
And this next one is yours.
Do we do points on that one or no?
Give me points.
Yeah, we
What
are
the
going to do
5?
points. I'm sorry. Let me do that real quick. Let's see.
Yeah, only
That-
Tim got points, right?
Tim, you were 3 percentage points away, which means you're going to get 5 points. And yeah,
Solid.
only one that's getting points here. Oops, I actually gave your points to Andrew. Your points go to Tim.
Oops.
And that's going to bring you
As long
up
as it doesn't go to Joey.
as long as it doesn't go to Joey. It's actually going to put you right underneath sniffing Andrew here, Tim.
Right under.
He is already. What the hell are you doing there?
How's it smell?
You don't want to be below me.
Oh, God.
Manscaped ball deodorant.
That's right. Not sponsored.
All right, Simon, this poll is yours. Where would DeAndre Hopkins be ranked the highest in fantasy football? If he landed at the Browns, the Chiefs, the Bills, or at the Patriots? What percentage of the public chose the Browns in this poll?
None. Maybe just
Ooh.
some with Chiefs and Bills there. Like, it's not that the Browns are a bad landing spot. Just how do you not click on two of the best offenses in football for one of the best wide receivers in football? Like, before you even take a second thought about what that situation means, you just see Bills nuke. Hell yeah. But you see Patriots nuke, you're sad. I'll say Browns is going to be the third lowest, right above Patriots, and it will be
Third highest then, right?
yeah, third highest.
Just checking.
Yeah, third lowest if
your
if you
brain
think
works-
about it wrong.
Yeah, your brain works really well. It's the mouth that just doesn't tell you. Like you said, I get it. I've been there.
14%. We're doubling down on my low number.
Ooh,
Locking that in.
Lock it in, baby.
40. All right, Andrew, was the actual percentage over, under, way under, or Queen Bee on Simon's guess of 14%?
I agree with your logic entirely. That he is the third best option. I think Chiefs and Bills people would lose their minds. We'd see a lot of people dumping their bees all over the place and just excitement.
Not your bees.
From the last question. So with that, I'm gonna Queen Bee it, and we're gonna do a diagonal Queen Bee here with me and Simon. I'm gonna Queen Bee it. I think that's the perfect number. I think
Queen
it makes sense.
Bee. All
Wait,
right.
It's
Locking
like
that in.
it's like that famous. It's like that famous painting.
yeah.
Oh,
Does that make me God? I don't like
Leonardo
it.
The
DiCaprio.
birth of Venus, I think, is what it's called.
ah. All right, Tim.
We're artsy here.
Well, I'm a coward, so I'm going to Queen Bee it as well.
Hooray!
Oh, that's a
I'm-
different one. That's a
I'm
different
not
movie.
losing out on 10 points if this hits.
It means only Simon gets points if we're wrong. That's great.
What has this mechanic become?
It's become a whole movement,
A
man.
whole movement. All right. We got some guesses in the chat. 8% from Dave, 4% from Sully.
It was a solid guess, too, by the way. I thought it was great logic.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I was thinking 15, but I'm like, I don't want to say it. Let's just go with it. Let the world take me where it goes.
Go, Hart.
Current,
Take
let me
That's right,
go.
Hart.
Albert with 12%, 5% from Grim, and 19% from the Scamp Meister in the chat. Well, the actual percentage of people who chose the Browns in this poll.
Oh, it's a party right here.
Simon, you guessed 14% of people.
Please be
So
15.
Andrew and Tim are backing you up. They're Queen Beeing you. The actual percentage was 10%.
Oh, I'll take it though.
10%. Simon, you were within 4 percentage points, which means you're going to get 5 points. That's right.
I'm not sure the show could have handled that. It would have seemed too
Triple Queen
scripted.
Bee.
Like it would have
Yeah.
been too scripted for that to have hit after we each tried it individually, than for all of us to come together.
There was no way I could say under. Like I was like, no, I don't think it's gonna be much less than that. There's not a lot of room there. And then over just didn't feel like, no, I think you're right. I think you're right. Well,
You don't want to
Now we've learned.
You don't want to be the wet blanket when everyone's queen beeing all over the place.
Right? I want to be where the bees are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got to be with the
I
bees.
want to be one of them.
All right, this game is
Also makes this really interesting now.
yeah 10 to 9 to 10. Whoever
To
is the
negative 15.
closest on this final poll is going to win this game. The closest each contestant is going to write down a percentage guess. Whichever contestant is closest is going to get 5 points. If any two contestants share the same answer, they're going to share the reward or lack thereof. I think. Oh, and if any contestant gets it exactly correct, they're going to get 10 points.
Okay.
All right.
I'm in.
I already have mine down. I think we're good to go.
Is it just a picture of a bee? Like that doesn't work for this one, Tim.
Damn it. All right, I'll change it.
All right, here is your poll. Do you chew your ice cream?
Oh,
Or no?
wow.
What percentage of the public chose yes? I chew my ice cream.
I don't know.
All that studying this whole week, and I didn't study this one. I got to be honest. I didn't know this would be on the test.
Put it in the curriculum
Man.
syllabus.
I don't think you did because I didn't get a syllabus.
I didn't write one, so that makes
Damn.
sense.
It depends on the ice cream.
Yeah, I was going to say the same, but the question doesn't have any caveats. It's just, do you chew your ice
It's just cavities.
cream? We're guessing the percentage that said yes.
Yes.
Do I chew my ice cream?
Correct.
I don't even know if I do. Do you guys chew your ice cream? How do you? I mean, you like?
I can't even
was
think of how I
confused.
chew
What
right now. Like,
constitutes
It's just
chewing?
like- I don't know.
Is it just
but
touching
none
it?
of that matters because it's the people that are answering, and we can't guarantee what they think, let alone what I
It's
think.
their
but
interpretation of chewing.
I'm trying to just get it straight for myself. I have no goddamn clue.
Like, no, I'm asking you guys, do I chew my ice cream? Like, help me out here.
Please, I need to know.
Simon's writing an essay, by the way. He's like very
Hmm.
focused on his writing.
I'm just
To chew or not to chew?
to chew or not to chew.
Not just the question. Okay.
All
I
right,
have my answer.
contestants.
I feel like I'm gonna freak out.
Friendly
either
reminder,
way.
chat. Throw your guesses in there.
'Cause
If
you
you
lick.
if you are closer than the panelists here, you will win a brand new car.
I don't have the kind of money to afford that payment, but I appreciate
Small
it.
print.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you can't redeem it. Ready, Simon? Is Simon frozen in that position? That's the most confusing position to be frozen in. Are you kidding me right now?
Especially for an ice cream related poll.
Yeah, I'm sitting here like, God,
He's
come on,
thinking
dude.
so hard. He's taking it so
Man's
serious.
got a brain freeze from chewing all that ice cream.
It's not that hard. This is like simple.
He's
as
doing
we've ever
math,
had.
How many calories per bite? And
Just need a number, man.
like, put it in the chat if you can hear us.
Could possibly still be writing. All right, I actually,
really big number.
I actually have Simon's guess. He has texted me because his internet has
good.
gone out.
Okay. Of course it did.
All right, contestants, go ahead and reveal your guesses. 31 from Tim, 37 from Andrew, and we got 14% from Simon. The only number
Ooh,
that
He went with 14 again. Of
Entire
course. Yeah,
game.
that makes sense. Yeah.
we got some guesses in chat. 17% from Craig, 0.01% from Grim Fan, 48% from Dave, 29 G's from Mr. Scampers, and
No, there we go.
19%
Suck your
from
ice cream.
Dave. Oh, that's not that gross. That's
Not that kind of
kind
podcast.
of normal. It's how you eat soft serve, right? It's just
When
basically
it's in your mouth, you just kind of suck on it till it's gone.
Yeah. All right. Let me pull his poll back up. Do you suck on your ice cream? Yes or no?
That's not what it says.
The actual percentage of people that chose side A was
14%. 14%.
23%.
Oh. Not me.
Simon, I think you're gonna
No,
win.
I didn't see the other answer, so I didn't know who was the closest.
Wait,
Why
what'd
did
you
I
say?
throw
What'd you
that?
say? You
Hold
said,
on.
what percentage?
23.
23.
23.
I'm 8. Simon is
That's 8.
9.
Simon's 9.
Oh,
No,
dude.
Steve, you win!
I can't do math.
Jackass.
Let's go. Try to steal that from me.
You
Let's
switch seats
go.
and you switch the win. I'm telling you.
JL coming in and stealing the victory from me at the last second. But Tim, congratulations on the W. And Andrew, you beat your high score from last time, and it was a neck and neck game until the very end. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on and play some poll perception with us.
No, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much, guys, for having me.
Well, guys, everybody watching, if you are not already following our friend Andrew, you need to remedy that very quickly. He's on Twitter at Andrew Hall FF. The link is below us in this video, and you can see the words written right below his handsome face on the screen.
Such a
Coming up
dude.
after us next on BSN, we've got Better Sports Betting with Howard Bender and John Impenda. I just mixed up the consonants in their name. It is Howard Bender and John Impemba. You don't have to mix up the M and the N whenever you say it. So stick around for Better Sports Betting right after this on BSN. That's going to be it for us today. We'll be back next week, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Come hang out with us for the Fantasy Football Game Show. Until then, adios, everyone. Enjoy your weekend.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Joe, did you delete that?
Every time.
Outro video?
I deleted every show. I told you.
God, making me re-upload it each and every time.